Welcome to White Door Tarot, where the reader is bubbly, but the readings can get dark. So today we are going to be doing the air signs for the first half of September. So without further ado, let's start off with animal oracles for Gemini. What do we got? Interesting how that just kind of out of there. All right, we have, okay, the bee, mouse, and stingray. Let's see what that's about. Who else got the bee? There was another sign that got the bee. Was it Sagittarius? Was it Sagittarius? Might have been Leo. Can't remember. My brain does not hold on to information very well. Let's see. Earnest, hardworking, democratic. The bee personality is a delight to be around, especially when there's a team project on the horizon. Bees love to work steadily and thoughtfully until the final task is complete. They are sensitive creatures aware of many subtleties at once. Since they're artists at heart, they usually add creative details to the overall vision. For the most part, they have bustling, joyous personalities until they're too tired from all the work. Then they gripe, and then sting. When in balance, content, active, vibrant. When out of balance, overworked, annoyed. To bring into balance, mini vacation. As I was reading this, I kind of got an insight, and it feels like there might be some Geminis out there that are trying to turn their creative pursuits into a living, as in they're kind of at that point where they're trying to live off of their art or their creative endeavors, let's say, trying to step out of the traditional 9 to 5 and into more into more something that's kind of more aligned with what they enjoy, trying to turn what they enjoy into a living. And they're starting to burn out is kind of the feeling that I got. So if you're a Gemini listening to this and you're in that situation, it's okay to take a break. And I say that because that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm not necessarily trying to turn this into a living. It's kind of like I'm going to do my best to grow this channel. And if it gets somewhere, cool. If it doesn't, that's what 9 to 5 are for, I guess. But I am making an attempt, right? So if you're making an attempt at doing something that you love and turning it into something that you can live off of, you're already far ahead of everybody else, because not many people have the courage to do that. So be proud of your progress, be proud of the fact that you made that decision, that you were brave enough to actually take action on your dreams, and give yourself a break when you need to, because like I like to say, it's better to kind of take a couple steps back, or kind of to stumble a little bit, than to tumble all the way down the landslide. It's better to take a break than to quit completely. So that's my insight on that. Okay, mouse. Detail-oriented, small-minded, nitpicky, nervous. Ooh, this feels like it also kind of ties into that. The mouse has an innate desire to tend to the details. It often spends its day fixing, preparing, organizing, and scrutinizing. Unfortunately, a mouse personality doesn't notice when they've gone too far. Soon they begin to have a limited and fearful vision of life and try to control every detail. This can be quite a painful experience for both the mouse and those around them. When mouse energy is at play, step back for a moment. It may be time to find a more purposeful project to delve into, one that's worthy of your exacting eye. When in balance, organized, resourceful, prepared. When out of balance, busy with no purpose. To bring into balance a meaningful project. Okay, so, again, tying into the B card, this feels like you're stretching yourself too thin. Try to regather your focus back into something that will be, well, I hate to say it this way, but that would be productive towards the goal that you are trying to achieve. Because it's easy to get kind of, to get lost in the woods, lost in the weeds. That's what they say. That's what they say. Lost in the weeds. It's easy to get lost in the weeds when you're trying to do all this stuff, but just try to stay focused, and make sure that you keep it to a scale that you feel like you can maintain, if that makes sense. Like for example, with my setup here, I set things up so that when I decide that I want to record a video, it's not that hard to do so. I can just, everything's already where it needs to be. I can just open up my laptop, turn on the camera app, hit record, and go. Because I know myself. If I make it so hard for me to record a video every time I want to record a video, I'm just going to stop recording videos. So it's important to know your limitations. And I wouldn't say stick with it, because it's important also to kind of step outside of your comfort zone for the sake of growth and for the sake of, self-improvement. But it's also important to know yourself and how best to approach working towards what you're trying to do. Okay, with that being said, next, the stingray. Hold on. I got a crunchy in my throat. Sounds gross when I say that, but my throat feels kind of rough. This is Norbert, my assistant, the guardian of my coffee. Developing confidence, sense of self, or spine. The stingray card represents a pivotal point in personal growth. The moment has come when the stingray must decide between the old, easy, comfortable, and familiar, and the new, challenging, uncomfortable, and unfamiliar. Pressure from family and friends makes the decision even more complicated. No matter what choice is made now, it's inevitable that this dilemma will surface again and again, as the force of Dharma growing within the stingray is too strong to ignore. When in balance, eager, wants to grow. When out of balance, blames others, quits. To bring into balance, move through the discomfort. So I feel like these three cards definitely tie into a Gemini that's trying to do something new, that is not easy, and is kind of on the verge of burning out. So again, making that decision, taking action towards your goals and dreams is a very, very brave choice. That's a very brave thing to do. Give yourself a pat on the back for that, and pace yourself. I know it's a little bit hard for Geminis to do, especially because they're very mercurial. But breathe. One thing that I advise everyone to do, and that I do for myself when I feel overwhelmed, and I'm a Taurus, so it's not hard for me to find myself feeling overwhelmed because I like things chill and stable and consistent. But I like to close my eyes, take a deep breath in while counting to 3, hold for 3 seconds, release over 3 seconds. And then I do that 3 times, and then I go do the hard thing, or I regather myself and go do the hard thing. Breath work is actually pretty effective. I am a psych grad, and I'm trying to go back to school to pursue my PhD, but I have found myself in situations where I've had to talk people off the ledge. And the most effective thing that I did for them, more than anything that I could have said to them, was when I noticed that they started getting overwhelmed, is I would tell them, stop, give them a shock to their system by being like, stop, very assertively, and saying, breathe. In, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3, out, 1, 2, 3. And it works. So if you're a Gemini and you're finding yourself overwhelmed, or even if you're not a Gemini, even if you're just somebody that happened upon this video, if you find yourself overwhelmed, don't underestimate the power of breath work. Okay? Okay. All right. Now moving on to Gemini Love. All right. Let's see what they got. Anything in love? I like to start with the recent past and go from there. I kind of have a freestyle style of reading. I like it to look like a storybook. And I pull clarifiers as needed. Ooh, okay. So far we have the Magician, and when I asked for more clarification on that, I got the Mother of Wands. And then after the Magician, we have the Two of Pentacles and the Lovers, both of which feel right now like decision-making cards. What's the other side of the decision? Come on. Give me something. Oop. Son of Wands. Interesting. Okay. And why is the Six of Wands here? Ooh, tied to the Ten of Wands. That wants to come out. But it came out hesitantly, so I will take note of that. Four of Wands. High Priestess. That feels like a backdrop energy, if that makes sense, kind of an overarching energy. That flipped out. Five of Cups. Okay. So I'll pull more as needed, but so far what I'm getting here, how this looks to me. The Magician is usually the card of manifestation. It's about making things happen. It's about getting what you want, making what you want happen. But here it feels like that's the part that you don't know. Your manifesting manifesting energy is a little bit scattered right now because you're unsure of what you're trying to manifest. And I say that because between the Two of Pentacles and the Lovers, like I said, it feels like you're juggling options. You're weighing out your options. You have choices, decisions to make. And I'm paying more attention to the art on the Mother of Wands and the Son of Wands card, and they came out when I was trying to clarify this Two of Pentacles and the Lovers. And you see how the Mother of Wands is coiled around her eggs, and she's coiled around the wand, and she's kind of, her body language is closed and tight. And then we have the Son of Wands, which is more upright and more facing forward, facing upward. It feels like you're teeter-tottering between the energy of self-preservation and wanting to open up a little more towards someone. I feel like this is someone that did hurt you deeply. And I think that that's why I just heard rebuilding trust. Okay, so that makes sense. You're rebuilding trust. So getting out of this energy, coming out of it, looks like the Six of Wands from the Ten of Wands. And that's these two together feels like slowly shedding burdens. Because as you can see with the Six of Wands, there's a rainbow at the top. That's about a return. That's about finding the rainbow at the end of the storm. So it feels like whatever happened is in the past, but there's a part of you that's still affected by it. And I wouldn't say like, let it go, move on, or whatever, because I get how these things can be. When you get hurt by someone that you love deeply, every fiber of your being wants to forgive them. But it does take two to rebuild that trust. I feel like I needed to let that echo a little bit. It takes two to rebuild that trust. And so another way of looking at the Mother of Wands and the Son of Wands is it's like one person is more ready to leave that in the past and move forwards, whilst you or the other person is still licking their wounds from that. So it makes sense that there's an energy here of, I really want to forgive you. I really do. But something still hurts. And the Four of Wands is about stability, foundation. It's kind of the, as a Taurus, for me, the ultimate happiness card. It's, the family, the white picket fence, the golden retriever, all that. Why do I always use golden retriever as an example for like the ultimate happiness and white picket fences? I don't even necessarily like white picket fences or golden retrievers. I have a mutt and a beagle that used to be a lab experiment. But anyway, and along with that came the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups in this deck is a horse that's trying to drink an already dried up place. It's feeling a lot like you're trying to build the Four of Wands, with this person, but there's another part of you that's questioning, have I already depleted? Has the love in this situation already depleted down to nothing? Am I returning to a watering hole that is dry? Is there anything left here for me? Is what that feels like. But I feel like you're making this decision from a place of intuition, not your head, not your heart. It's a place of intuition. And that is very good. I highly encourage that, because when when you're too much in your headspace, that's where anxiety and depression and logic can try to override the system. But love is not a logical thing. Love is not a rational thing. You can't rationalize or logicalize your way out of love. We love who we love, no matter how much they hurt us, and but when you let your heart take over, it doesn't exactly always choose what's good for you either. Because if you let your heart lead the way, you'll find yourself in a place where you're like, I am taking too much crap here. I love them and that's the place that I'm operating from, but I am taking way too much crap here. If you let your head lead the way, it says, well, why do I even love this person? Why do I even care anymore? They hurt me. But when you let your intuition lead, I feel like that opens the door for compassion, understanding. Why did this person hurt me? Your love is valid. And it's also important to acknowledge that they do love you too, in the best way that they know how. But is that enough for you? Is their best enough for you? Is their best in the moment enough for you? And if it's not, are they willing to grow with you? Are they willing to grow for themselves? Now I'm kind of regurgitating stuff that I'm hearing. I'm kind of slipping into a trance-like state, which happens sometimes in readings, so don't mind me if I just start babbling. But that's what I keep hearing is you're coming from a place of being able to see the bird's eye view of this situation. You're not too stuck in your head, you're not too stuck in your heart, and that's good. You're trying to tap into your intuition. Because sometimes people hurt you from a place of woundedness, or because they don't know better. They've never seen what healthy connection looks like. And that's the journey of being human, is experiencing everything that we've experienced and trying to build something new that we've never seen before. Because a lot of us come from backgrounds, myself included, where we've never seen what a healthy love looks like. We've never seen what a healthy connection looks like. And we don't know how to operate in healthy connections because we've never been in one. But with a lot of self-awareness and a lot of willingness to grow, a lot of consciousness, and a lot of love, and a lot of patience, a lot of communication, a lot of willingness to understand one another. Because remember, not all disagreements have to become an argument. Not all communication has to turn into friction. When we have a foundation like this with someone, it isn't steady and stable because both people are perfect and know how to maintain the harmony at all times. It is steady and solid because both people are consistently willing to put in the effort to choose each other rather than running away to what is comfortable, or rather than abandoning out of self-preservation. Foundations like this aren't built by two perfect people. They are built through love that backs action, choices, decisions. So now your question that you're asking yourself is that what we have? Let me see if they have anything more. Nope. I just heard them say only you would know that. So it looks like this is what you're going through right now, Geminis. I'm sorry that I can't give you a yay or nay or any further guidance as to what to do, but it seems that that is the point. This is an experience that will help you connect deeper with your intuition and seeing it guide your life and decisions, and seeing how things turn out from there. Seems like that's exactly what you need right now. Okay, moving on to career. And since the animal oracle cards were so heavy on like creative projects and new endeavors and things like that, I'm actually really excited to see what's going on with the Gemini career. All right, they are telling me to shuffle, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle. By they, I think I failed to mention this in my previous videos, but I listen to my cards. So sometimes you'll see me shuffle, sometimes you won't see me shuffle, sometimes you'll see me blow on my cards. Don't worry about it. I'm just listening to the cards. And I shuffle until they tell me to stop. Feels like they want a reset from that last reading. All right, let's go. Cool. Father of Cups. The Lovers is back. Three of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. Seven of Cups. What's up with the Seven of Cups? Ace of Cups. Haha. I feel like this is it. Okay, so the Father of Cups, to me, is about nurturing yourself. You know, the Queen of Cups or the Mother of Cups in this deck is about nurturing others as well as yourself. But the Father of Cups feels not like a taker, but someone that's actually aware of their own needs. This feels like someone who has done the work to look at their life and themselves and think, I need more than what is in front of me. That's what that feels like. And with the Lovers, again, it's about making choices, making decisions. It's not just about a love relationship. You know, I know people freak out when they see the Lovers. They're like, oh my God, union, twin flames. But no, it is also a card about choices. So it looks like you became more aware of what more you need out of your life. You made a choice. You started making plans. Three of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles. You started planting seeds. You started taking action towards something new. The Seven of Cups is about illusions. Sometimes it's about deception. Sometimes it's about people wearing masks. But when I pulled that, I heard hidden opportunity. When I clarified it, I got the Ace of Cups. So it seems that as stuck as you feel right now, according to the animal oracles, with your new endeavor, there's something that you're not quite seeing yet, but it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. There is a resource that you have that you haven't thought of yet or hasn't made itself visible to you yet. So it looks like where you're hitting a roadblock, there is going to be something else that pops up and helps you move forward a little better, a little faster, more in the direction that you want to go. Three of Wands. Three of Wands. The Hermit. Okay, so this feels more like here, right in between the Three of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles, the Hermit. It feels like you're taking a moment to regather your energy, which is good because that's exactly the advice that I gave you with the animal oracles. Re-strategize. Well, not re-strategize. Your plan isn't bad. I'm not getting the feel that your plan isn't bad. I'm not getting the feel that your plan is bad. I'm getting the feel that your plan is slightly undercooked. And the reason why I say that is because you're not fully utilizing all of the resources that are available to you yet. Either because you haven't thought of them or because they're not there yet. But they will come. So right now, if you must take a pause, don't take a pause thinking that you're going to fail or, thinking this isn't going to work or, oh, I feel so stuck. Get more into the energy of if you're going to take a pause to regather your energy. Take a pause to let the plan cook a little more. Think of it as I'm waiting, not I'm stuck. Eight of Cups is here, and this feels more like it's over here in between the Father of Cups and the Lovers. And that feels to me like maybe another reason why you're feeling stuck or you're feeling burnt out or you're feeling frustrated, like you're feeling those blockages, is because you also have memories of where something that you have tried to do failed in the past. But this feels brand new. This feels more, ooh, okay. Also, with the Eight of Cups appearing after the Hermit, I heard a question. What did you learn from that? What did you learn from the Eight of Cups? What did you learn from the failures of the past? They weren't failures. They were lessons. They were opportunities for growth. Also, I feel compelled to tell you that, I don't necessarily like, the toxic positivity attitude of being like, well, everything happens for a reason. But everything kind of does happen for a reason if you make it have a reason. So, okay. Rant time. Rant time. I have been through some things. I have been through some things that had my back against the wall, couldn't see a way out. Death was a real possibility. Let's just say I've lived a very colorful life. And now, being where I am, in hindsight, all of those situations ended up making sense somewhere down the line. But it's not because I took those experiences and just sat with them or just held them or tried to heal from them while bypassing the lesson I have tried to figure out, what can I get from this situation? I have squeezed them like lemons trying to make my lemonade. And that's the best that we can do. We can take the punches and roll with them, but not just, in a dodging and whatever happens happens kind of way. It's more in a take the punches, squeeze them, wring them like rags, and try to figure out, what can I get from this? Because if I had to go through this either way, I'm not going to let this experience go to waste. That's a more proactive approach to life. I've been in an abusive relationship that ended with cops and near death. And what I got out of that, though, was he was the one that pushed me to go to the school that I went to, which is a very, very good school. So I got that out of that relationship. Even if it's delusional, even if I have to be delusional to be like, okay, I got this at least out of that horrible situation. Do it. Even if you think, oh, I'm just being delusional, I'm just trying to force meaning where there isn't any. No, that's how you get through it. That's how you get through it, and that's how you take that experience and become who you need to become for it. Healing doesn't just happen. It's not a passive process. It's an active process. You have to sit with yourself. You have to sit with your experience. You have to wring it like a towel, and you have to figure out what you can get out of it, and you choose to be better for it. And then you do get better for it. Why am I getting so passionate about this? So your 8 of Cups, that is, you're processing that through the process of the Hermit. That's what this feels like. And maybe that in itself, the lessons that you can learn from that 8 of Cups experience that you feel is holding you back right now, is exactly the hidden resource that you did not think of. Because the 3 of Wands, I didn't address this yet, is about jumping into the unknown. It's about embarking on a new journey. It's about, look, it's all black and white around here, but right in this triangle, it's a rainbow, it's a cosmos, it's a field of possibility. So yeah, Gemini, it feels like you're going through a little growth spurt as you're getting to where you need to get. I hope this helps, but yeah, the key takeaway is, what did you learn from the past? How can you do things better this time around? And are there any resources around you or within you that you haven't tapped into yet? Think about it. Cool. Lastly, what do we have? Shadow work. Okay. Okay. Coming out? No. If it's meant to come out, it will. Oh, there we go. Son of Pentacles. Unusually reserved energy for a Gemini, I say, as I pull the 10 of Wands. Three of Swords. Ooh. 7 of Swords. I will take the Mother of Pentacles, but I'll put these back. Again, whatever's meant to come out will. Six of Wands. Two of Swords. That feels like it belongs over here. Whoa. There we go. The Chariot. Where's the bridge? Where's the bridge? Mother of Swords. Aha. Okay. All right. So, like I said, we have the Son of Pentacles, which is an unusually reserved energy for a Gemini. And that's probably because of the Ten of Wands and the Three of Swords. There was something that hurt you deeply. Two of Swords, you feel like you're at a stalemate as far as your emotions go. You're not sure whether you want to trust them again. You're not sure whether you want to open up again. You're not sure, it's not that you don't want to actually, no, it's whether or not you can. Because I'm also hearing, can we come back from this? And then we have the Seven of Swords, which is about deceit, trickery. But in this deck, and I've mentioned this in a couple other readings, in this deck, it is a fox sleeping with one eye open, with a sword tucked under his body. And that to me is about distrust, not necessarily about deceit. But after that, we have the Mother of Pentacles, which is a softer, more stable energy. And we have the Six of Wands, which to me in this deck is about recovery. It's about forward movement. It's about re-emerging from the rubble. So that feels like healing. And then we have the Chariot with a pentacle around his neck. So that feels like the pursuit of something that feels more right to you. When I asked for a bridge, I got the Mother of Swords. And the Mother of Swords is someone that is observant. She has a sharp eye. You know, this kind of ties back into that intuitive energy that I pulled from your love reading. She operates from a place of intuition as well. I know it's swords, so it's air energy. It's more about the mind. It's more about thought and communication. But this owl in particular is intuitive. But in the realm of your shadow work, you know, from going to this, I'm hurt. I don't know if I can come back from this. I don't know if I can heal from this. I don't know if we can go back to the way things were. And having trouble trusting them again. Going from there to the Mother of Pentacles, Six of Wands, the Chariot, it feels like the bridge is about words that need to be spoken. Whether that be how you're feeling or something else that you've been too afraid to say. I'm feeling something quite complex, actually. I'm feeling that there is something that you're holding back from saying, because saying it is going to put you in a vulnerable spot with someone that your trust is already kind of rocky with. Because that's another thing, you know, when we speak our truth, when we speak on the way people have hurt us, when we speak on things like that, the reason it feels so vulnerable is because it puts the ball in their court. They can either abandon you or they can take accountability. They can ignore you or they can acknowledge it. They can blame you. They can gaslight you. They can shift blame. They can point the finger at you. They can deflect. They can lie to you. Or they can sit and talk through it with you. When you speak, it puts the ball in their court to respond. And how they respond can either bring you closer together and it can be another building block to your foundation together. It can be healing. It can help you move forward, or it can drag you back into this. It can hurt you. It can be destructive. It can be detrimental to the relationship. The way they respond affects everything. It affects the way your relationship moves forward. Whether this be with a partner or a friend or anything, anyone, that's why it's such a scary thing to do. But that's part of your work. That's part of your shadow work. Is learning how to be so steady in yourself, to be so sure of your own foundation that you built for yourself, that you can afford to be brave enough to speak your truth and let the chips fall wherever they fall. Let whatever happens happen. But you did your part by speaking your truth. You did your due diligence by making it clear what you need and what you want, what you need from them, how you feel. And it's okay if you don't have all the answers. I need you to do this. You can't even just be at a place where you're like, I feel like this. Now what? Now what do we do? And you can either find yourself thinking of what to do together, or you can see how they choose to respond, accept it, and leave it be. Because how you speak your truth is not a reflection of them, it's a reflection of you and who you are, and you are someone that lives in integrity. How they respond tells you who they are. And they may or may not get to a point where they realize that and accept that and chooses to go from it. But that's not on you. The only thing that you need to be concerned about is, what truth am I holding back for the sake of keeping the peace when it is destroying the peace within myself? Think about it. Okay? Okay. So that's it for the Gemini shadow work. I had to pause to move my mic here from my cardigan to my t-shirt because it was flopping all over the place. I have no idea what the audio turned out sounding like in this video. I ain't retaking it though. I came up with some pretty good advice, and I'm gonna keep it. Sorry if the audio ended up sucking somewhere along the lines. But anyway, moving on to Libra. Let's see. I'm a Libra moon, actually. So let's see what we get here. Animal oracles. Ooh, I just saw something colorful. And that usually is a good sign in this deck. Starting out with the moth. Ooh. Oh, bonus card. Okay. Ooh. We have the dragon. Yeah. And the elephant. When I was a kid, I couldn't say elephant, and I used to say effluent. Anyway, so we have the effluent and the zebra. These are all very intuitive cards. Let's see. Moth. I think it was the first in the, yep, it's first in that section in the book. Impulsive, hasty, wishful. The moth is sure the grass is greener on the other side. Moth energy is at play when we're attracted to easy solutions or anything shiny and new. This can lead to unfinished projects, disappointment, or burnout. It's helpful to remind moth personalities that life is complex. No matter the illusion, no one is exempt from the trials and tribulations of this great journey. Practice seeing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different. When in balance, enthusiastic, whimsical. When out of balance, idealizes others, jittery. To bring into balance, finish a project. Going from that to the other three is going to be an interesting. I think I'm already starting to feel what the overall message is here, but we'll see. Dragon, seeing one's most true self, balancing the ego. The dragon sees everything. Its essence has been with us before our first breath and will be there at our last. It watches us navigate the external world as well as our inner world. When dragon energy is awakened, we are courageous, visionary, and can easily drop into witness consciousness. Consciousness. It is almost as if we are traveling with a great friend inside of ourselves. When we look in the mirror deep into our eyes, we may even glimpse the self behind the self, the one who is watching us. This is the power of the dragon breathing transformative fire into every cell of our bodies. Witnessing this omnipotent energy, even for a brief moment, helps us surrender and let go. We let the dragon guide us. We hop on its back for a ride. And as we traverse even the most difficult terrain, the dragon's eyes see beauty everywhere. It is said that if a yogi does not see beauty in the world, their Agni is dim. Agni is described as inner fire or sacred intelligence. Maybe even just the mention of the dragon stir the embers of intelligence within you. I feel like reading the next one, the Effluent. I'm going to mark the zebra with my finger because I found it. But I feel like reading the next one with my broadcaster voice. Elephant. Unstoppable, auspicious, wise. The elephant is arguably the most auspicious figure in the deck. Like Ganesh, the elephant represents immense wisdom as well as good fortune. Okay, I'm tired of this. It is said that the great elephant is the destroyer of obstacles. So if this card appears when you feel stuck, rest assured the path will soon become clear. To add to the mystery, the elephant is also known to create obstacles in order to steer us in the right direction. Trust this gentle, noble creature. It illuminates the way with the light of self-knowledge. When in balance, one-pointed focus, generous, loving. When out of balance, misunderstands fate. To bring into balance, trust. The zebra, eccentric, creative, visionary. Zebras are the most precious of gems. They are young at heart, well-cultured, and have an undying curiosity about life. Being in the company of a zebra personality not only is a delight, but also opens our minds. Be prepared. Their potent magic is contagious, and you may soon find yourself in a faraway land, expanding your worldview while having a blast. Zebras also like to contribute to the global health through environmental or volunteer work. This card may be a hint to pack your bags. When in balance, worldly, enthusiastic, fashion forward. When out of balance, jaded, pouty, and vain. To bring into balance, an epic adventure or art. So what this feels like, Libras or Libra moons, suns, risings, Venuses? Nah. I would say this applies more to like the Libra suns and moons right now. Just feel like it. This feels like you're on the precipice of awakening. And you might not be a novice to spirituality. You might not be a novice at all. But, or you could be, but basically you're awakening something new. Either your gifts are kicking in. You're starting to get messages and you don't know how to decipher them. You are maybe developing something new. But this definitely feels like it has to do with your spirituality. Because the dragon, the elephant, and actually even the zebra and moth, they are all pretty spiritual animals to me. I mean, all animals are spiritual to a certain extent, but especially these ones. And it feels like you're fighting it. It feels like you're fighting what's trying to bud and bloom within you. And it feels like you're fighting it through distractions, through trying to bring things back to more lightheartedness, because, you know, the truth is, when anything awakens, it goes through a period of darkness first. And until you're ready to sit in the dark, sit with the dark, and surrender to what you're going through, it can never fully take shape. And I say that because the image that I'm getting is, I grow roses, and if you mess with the bud too much, you know, trying to get it to open sooner, or, you know, not open at all, or like if you mess with it in any way, what you're going to get when it blooms is a mangled rose. So the overarching energy that I'm getting from your animal oracle here is something good is trying to happen to you. Something good is trying to happen for you. But that good thing doesn't feel good. But you need to let it happen. You need to let it bloom. You need to stop messing with it by distracting yourself, or denying it, or pretending it's not happening, or, you know, trying to cover it up with humor or whatever. I mean, you still have to be a functioning adult, but this feels like you're suppressing something that's meant to grow. And that thing that's trying to grow is something amazing. You know, I believe in destiny. I believe in fate. I believe in soulmates. You know, I believe in all that. I believe in fated things. But I also believe that the two most sacred things in the universe are love and free will. But the trick about that is that free will means that you can either choose to never meet your destiny where it's at, because destiny doesn't come to you, you go to it. The destiny is there, the plan is there, your soulmates are around you. But can you become the person that can meet it there, that can meet them there? Can you go through the growth necessary to be able to hold destiny when you find it, when you touch it? That's the thing about having free will, is that you may never reach your destiny because of the ways in which you chose to exist. Or you can even surpass your destiny through sheer free will. Because when spirit and the resilience of a human collaborate, great things can happen. But are you willing to collaborate? And are you willing to grow into someone who is worthy of collaborating with spirit? Man, that got deep. Let's see what's going on with your love. Libra Love. Ten of Cups. I knew it. Seven of Wands. All right. Ten of Cups, Seven of Wands. What is that about? The Lovers is back again from the Gemini reading. Along with the Fool. Cool. You know, I'd like to take like a shot of my cards from like right here. I do have like the phone arm thing where I can film that, but my cat Robin likes to use this as a bed. So as you can probably already see, it's just covered in fur. and I can't keep it furless to save my life. Everything that I own is covered in fur. Two of Swords, because I have cats and dogs. It's just the way that it is. Three of Pentacles. Okay. Death. This, I feel, so again, I do freestyle readings, so I may or may not rearrange the cards. Death, the Fool. Death, the Fool, the Ten of Cups. That's the ending. The Two of Swords goes with the Lovers. Three of Pentacles happens after all this. Justice. I usually don't read reversals or challenge positions, but this feels right. Ha! The butthole. The Sun. That also goes with that. Nine of Cups. Full body chills. Okay. Son of Cups. That feels over here. Oh. Four of Wands. Over here. There it is. The World. I was waiting for you. And the Four of Swords. What this feels like, Libra. This feels like part of the distractions. You're being pushed towards growth. And growth is uncomfy. Growth is scary. Because growth requires sitting with yourself. Alone. Intentionally. Not in the, I keep to myself to protect my peace, when really what you're doing is isolating yourself so that no one triggers you or hurts your feelings. But sometimes getting your feelings hurt is exactly what triggers the growth that you have to go through. But no, this is calling for a need to isolate yourself so that you can find fulfillment within. But you're distracting yourself with other people. This again feels like it ties into your animal oracle. And I have a feeling we're going to be repeating the message in the shadow work. So with the Two of Swords and the Lovers, it feels like this is decisions. And then we have two completely opposite cards, Death and the Fool. Endings, new beginnings, taking a new leap of faith. It's rebirth. But the decisions you make right now, I feel like the decisions that you make right now, how you choose to move right now, is very significant to where you go from here. Because when I see death, I hear detriment. When I see the Fool, I see benefit. So it's almost like you're at a fork right now. You can go this way or you can go that way. Justice, being in the challenge position, What I'm hearing with that is there might be something that you or the other person are dodging accountability on. And I say that because this Seven of Wands, the light and the dark, with the Three of Pentacles, along with the Four of Swords, which is about healing. Three of Pentacles is about planning, strategizing. All of this feels like you can either be healing right now or planning your escape. You could be either healing right now or planning your exit strategy or your next distraction. Right now, you're kind of right at that fork, at that middle point where do you choose to do the thing? Do you eat your veggies or do you eat the donut? Do you drink to forget or do you drink water to hydrate? Do you make the healthy choice or do you run? This feels like evasion. And I might get some hate from this with how much I'm calling out Libra on their crap right now, but keep in mind, I myself am a Libra moon, but this feels like evasion. This feels like there's something that you need to be looking at, that you need to be sitting with, that you keep running from and distracting yourself from. And then we have the World. And I was waiting for this because I was hoping that the Libras would break this cycle. Because that's one thing that I've noticed with a lot of Libras is they don't do too well sitting in their feels. They don't do too well with heavy energy. They want to keep things light. But what this is telling me is that you gotta eat your veggies because it's good for you. It's what you need right now. It's something that's going to unlock so much more for you. Your ability to sit with yourself right now and process who you are, how you've been living, where you're at in your life, what more you want for yourself, and whether or not you're someone that can safely hold what you want for yourself. That's where you're at right now. Or that's where you need to be right now. If you could just stop distracting yourself or dodging accountability or trying to float over the heavy feelings and thoughts. And I know this is a love reading. I still have that in mind. But learning who you are and how you show up in the world and who you are at the core of your being, that's the foundation of love. That is the foundation of any love that you may have or find in the future. Because I've had clients who ironically was a Libra, now that I think about it. When I did personal readings, she came to me repeatedly over the same man. And finally, and no matter how much I told her this exact thing, you have to sit with yourself and reflect on your actions right now. You need to figure out who you are right now. Because right now you're being codependent on this other person. You're more concerned with how he feels about you than how you feel about yourself. You're more concerned with what he thinks about you than what you think of yourself or what you even think of him. You already have it in your head that you love him. Why? You already have it in your head that he's perfect. No, he's not. Everyone is flawed. Everyone has growth and healing to do. But you're putting him on a pedestal and you're forgetting yourself in the process. You're abandoning yourself in the process. And she says, I just want to share my life with him. I said, what life? You don't have one. I want him to get to know me. Who are you? And are you someone that you're proud of? Feels like you're going through that. With all that being said, with this still being a love reading, there are a lot of cups in your future. Once you manage to end this cycle, once you figure your ish out, once you get to the point of the Nine of Cups, where you truly are content being on your own with no distractions, you're not running from yourself anymore. You're not masking your pain by going out every other day. You're not afraid to sit by yourself with your thoughts without any external distractions. Once you get to that point, that's when your 10 of Cups and 4 of Wands, good foundation, good, steady, happy life. And your 10 of Cups, your abundance, your heart is full. And the butthole, I mean the sun, ultimate happiness kicks in. But the truth is, the potential for this can come to you as many times as it wants. You can meet someone amazing. You can meet someone that is everything that you want over and over and over again. But until you become someone that can hold that and reciprocate that and be an active participant in building that with them, the cycle will repeat itself. So it looks like, Libra, right now the focus is not who's coming in for you or what's going on with my relationship. It's doing the work. Okay, so let's get into work. Speaking of doing the work, the work reading, job, career, all that good stuff. All right, okay. They're like, get that ish off of me. That was heavy. All right. You good? We're good. Okay. Libra career. Libra career. Ooh. 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 Oh, no, never mind. I thought this was something else. We've got the devil. But then we also have the Empress. I thought it was the Emperor and the Empress, dang it, because the color scheme was the same. Anyway, and the Son of Swords. Oh, I don't like the visual that I just got, but I will pull more cards before I speak on it. You. Yeah, you. 3 of Swords. 10 of Wands. I need to caffeinate for this. Oh, 2 of Pentacles. Holy crud. The Fool. And how funny is that? The Fool just kind of jumped out like that, in typical Fool fashion. Okay. Death is back. Mang, Libras are just going through it right now, aren't they? And it's funny how the Fool and Death came out after the Two of Pentacles, which is about weighing things out and juggling and making decisions. Come on. All right, let's focus on potential outcome. Because I think I can see already what the challenge is. Five of Pentacles. Oh, 10 of Pentacles. Oh, okay. Okay. We have the Death with the Five of Pentacles. We have the Fool with the 10 of Pentacles. We have the Butterfly, or the Two of Pentacles, juggling, making decisions. We have the Devil and the Empress. We have the Son of Swords, 10 of Wands, Three of Swords. Father of Swords. Two of Cups. Father of Cups. Mother of Wands feels like the motivating factor in this Two of Pentacles. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? The Magician. Okay. I also feel compelled to pull from my... What's this called again? I love this deck. The Ghoulish Garbs Tarot Major Arcana Deck and Guidebook. Look how cute that is. Isn't that just adorable? I just love the artwork of this deck. But it's just Major Arcana cards. Major Arcana, how people like to say it. Norbert, can you hold on to my Three of Swords for me? Thank you. But I like using it for clarifiers. There it is. There it is. The Tower. The Tower. Because I feel, no, you belong over here. I feel like Libras right now are juggling a very clear decision. And the reason I say it's very clear is because you already know that you are miserable where you are at. You already know that you are not happy where you're at, and you never will be. It will never be what you want it to be. This job, you are dying on the inside every time you show up. It might even be making you physically ill, I would go as far as to say, because the Three of Swords, the 10 of Wands, it's heavy. The energy is very heavy. And I know that when I've worked jobs, sorry, I have a habit of bouncing my knee, hope you don't care. I've had jobs where I would physically gag on my way in every morning. I've had jobs that caused ulcers for years from the stress. And this is what this feels like. It feels like it's making you sick. It is very clearly toxic, especially here with the Devil, right? And Death and the Fool with the Five of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups here. It's just a night and day difference, this spread right now. On one side of the Two of Pentacles, we have the Three of Swords, 10 of Wands, Son of Swords. Son of Swords is not a bad card, but it feels like, in this case, it feels like survival. It feels like the survival scarcity mindset. It feels like it feels like being in that headspace of needing to think on your feet, needing to make decisions on your feet while not delving too deep into it. It's almost like you're trying to tell yourself, wait, well, it pays the bills. And, I have to show up to work because that's just what you do. That's what you have to do, but you're suffering for it. And then we have death and the Five of Pentacles, which is about loss and disappointment and being left out in the cold. Yeah, there's a lot of like survival scarcity mindset energy over here. Death, I know it's death and rebirth, but in this case, it feels like decomposition. It's like it just literally feels like the life is getting sucked out of you. And then on the other side, we have the Father of Cups, the Two of Cups, the Father of Swords, which is about more mature communication, more thoughtful communication, being able to take your time with decisions. Carefully thought out is kind of the key word that I'm getting here. We have the Empress, which is about abundance and standing in your power, and she is all of the queens in the deck combined. The Empress is someone that is well taken care of, but also knows how to take care of herself. And then we have the Fool and the Ten of Cups. New beginnings and abundance. And the reason why I said earlier that the Mother of Wands feels like the motivating factor between the Two of Pentacles is because these energies are very, very clear. It's so clear that what you're doing right now is unaliving you. And then on the other side, you're seeing something, the possibility of something that could make you very happy. And you'd think that a decision like that should be easy to make. But the reason why it's not is because the Mother of Wands. And again, the Mother of Wands, she's protective. She's in self-preservation mode. So this almost feels like you're scared to walk away from even something as toxic as this, just because it gives you a certain standard of living that you're accustomed to by now. You make good enough money that you're not sure if you can make somewhere else. The benefits are okay. On paper, it looks like something that you could retire at, but can you really? I mean, honestly, at this point, are you even going to live to retirement age in this energy? Like, that's what this feels like, man. So, yeah, that seems to be the hang up. But the reason why I smiled so hard when I saw the Tower pop up is because, take this as a warning. If you don't jump ship when every fiber of your being is telling you to jump ship, because you're scared of the possibility of never being able to find this, the good stuff, to find better, to find something that pays you more, appreciates you more, has better benefits potentially, is a better environment, the decision is going to be made for you. That's what the Tower is. Because anything built on a faulty foundation is not built to last. And the foundation over here is faulty AF. So yeah. I also just heard something a little scurry. They said the time you have to be indecisive is limited. So you just might need to take a leap of faith. If this is the situation that you're in, I have something that I call the BS to pay ratio. So no matter how much you're making at a job, you got to weigh it out with the BS that you have to put up with. Like the job that I stayed at that gave me ulcers every day, you could not pay me 7 figures to go to a job like that again. You have to weigh the pros and cons out. What is really important to you? But I do again feel compelled to say, don't take too long. Yep. Well, that was heavy. Man, the Libras really are going through it right now, aren't they? And now, finally, for the Libra shadow work. And I'm getting weird about it because the excuse me, the love and work readings were already pretty heavy, and I do notice that the video length is pretty long now because of how deep we dove into those topics for Gemini as well. But man, the air signs are just, well, I did warn you guys in the beginning, the reader's bubbly, but the readings can get dark, man. The readings can get dark. All right, shadow work. Shadow work. Can it get any darker than we've already gone? We shall see. Oh, I'm getting a ring in the ear. I'm getting a ring in the ear. Why am I getting a ring in the ear? What's going on with Libra shadow work? Libra suns and moons. Mother of Cups. Bye. Hang on. The devil. I need to caffeinate more for this. Okay. Oh my goodness. 10 of Swords. And I just heard I don't want it to end. Oh. 3 of Cups. Again, we're getting a lot of yin-yang energy here. 2 very different courses of energy. Nope. Get back in there. You don't feel right. Oh. 7 of Wands. The Fool. The World. I know you don't want it to end, Libra, whatever it is, but it looks like it has to. And then we have the 8 of Wands, which feels like it goes with the 7 of Wands. Mother of Pentacles. Oh, I also forgot to mention the Magician in the earlier reading. Seven of Pentacles. Son of Swords. I keep dropping cards. Got it. 2 of Cups. Eight of Pentacles. 6 of Cups. The Sun. And what do we have here? The 6 of Pentacles and the Lovers. Now the Lovers feels like it's not just about decisions. It feels like more. You go over here. You, I'm running out of desk space, but you are the overarching future. Okay. When I pulled the Devil and the 10 of Swords, I heard I don't want it to end. This feels like an ending that you're resisting. even though it's toxic. Now, this could be about your job. This could be about the shadow work that we talked about in your love reading. It could be a cycle. It could be a way of being. It could be a relationship with a person. It could be anything. But there's something that you are resisting the ending of. I have a feeling that it has something to do with familiarity. Because I just heard familiar or new. And then in the opposing energy, we have the Mother of Cups along with the Three of Cups. And that is a more harmonious energy. That is that's a softer energy. It feels like what triggered this back and forth that you're going through with your job and love and just your personal growth. You know, that resistance to growth happened because something sparked the feeling of the need to grow. And that's what this Seven of Wands and this Eight of Wands feels like, because this is about inspiration. You got a glimpse of something that you want, but it also eliminated your limitations. With the Fool and the Son of Swords, I heard that Nike slogan, just do it. And this feels like in your inner world, there's a way that you have always been. And there was a good reason for it. It was to protect yourself. It was to keep yourself safe from others and from yourself. And I say that because it feels like self-preservation, survival. It doesn't feel like it's true to the essence of who you are. It feels like a mask that you put on, not only because you care what other people think, but also because there's a part of you that you don't want to see. And you put that mask on so that when you look in the mirror, even you don't see who you really can truly be. You know what this feels like? This feels like someone saw potential in you that you didn't even see in yourself. And that is what triggered the sudden discomfort with how you've always operated. But you're stuck in your head about it. You're stuck in your head about it, but that stuckness is an illusion. That's self-imposed. You did that to yourself. You're not stuck. You're just stubborn. Why am I being so harsh with the Libras right now? They're already going through it, but that's what I'm hearing. You're not stuck. You're just stubborn. So just do it. This cycle for you has to end one way or another, because you're starting to realize that where you're at and how you do things, or the connection that you're in, or the job that you're at, is not sustainable. See, I talked about this a little bit in another reading, another video, but when I was 29, I almost died. And by almost died, I mean I seriously almost died. I got very, very sick. And I needed surgery for it. And Before all of that happened, I was working that job that gave me ulcers. And I was running around helping other people, being a martyr. In hindsight, I can say I was just being a martyr. I was wearing the mask of kindness when really it was just self-sacrifice. It was just trying to be useful so that in hopes of getting people to like me. But when I got sick, those people weren't there. The people that I neglected because I didn't have the energy for them after all of the things that I was running around doing for other people that didn't even show up for me. Those were the people that showed up. The people that I was constantly apologizing to, saying, no, sorry, I can't meet up. I can't hang out. I'm too tired. Or I'm doing this other thing. Those were the people that showed up. And I was just running myself into the ground. I was working 3 different side hustles. I had a full-time job that gave me ulcers. I was in school half-time. I didn't have a single day to just chill in my house and wear my jammies all day and binge watch Netflix. Like, I didn't have time for that. I didn't have energy for that. And that was my life before I got sick, and I was forced to slow down for a year. I was on my deathbed for a year. And that gave me a lot of time to think about my mortality. And when you are face to face with your mortality at 29 years old, when you were so sure that you would have all the time in the world for better things, that changes you. So the question here is, are you okay with living and dying the way things and you are right now? Are you okay with your existence being what it is forever? Or is there something else that you caught a glimpse of that you can't forget, that you want? And are you willing to become who you need to become to get it and keep it? Because if there's one thing that I've learned from that experience, it's that it's this profound respect for time and mortality. I have it tattooed to my arm, Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. Latin phrase. And I know it sounds like a bleak or morbid way of looking at things, but really it's no different from what Carpe Diem, seize the day. Because time is the one resource that we don't know how much of it we have. We don't know how much time we have. And it's the one resource that we can't replenish. So spend it wisely. Now, would you spend it staying stuck? Or would you spend the time that you have on the pursuit of happiness? Because on the other side of the world, we have the 7 of Pentacles, the 8 of Pentacles, the 6 of Cups, the Mother of Pentacles, the 6 of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the 2 of Cups, and the Sun. Now this, I know, other than the Sun, the Lovers, and the 2 of Cups maybe, or maybe even the Mother of Pentacles, like, it doesn't look like this huge razzle-dazzle future, cosmic reward. But it feels like the energy of building something new. Starting again from a humble place. Being a beginner again. This feels like earnest work. It might not be everything that you want it to be just yet, but it is the seed for it. And it is up to you to grow it and nurture it and keep it. It doesn't start out perfect. It doesn't appear to you complete. But it is something that has the potential to grow into something great. It's a seed that once you go through this cycle, you can recognize it for what it is. It is the seed of happiness. Happiness doesn't come to you finished. Happiness comes to you in the form of potential. And it will only grow as much as you are willing to nurture it. And that realization that there is no savior, there is no hero, there is no magic perfect person or job or situation or whatever that's going to drag you out of this and ultimately immediately into the sun. It's that realization that happiness and love are built brick by brick with consistency, with dedication, with integrity. That realization is what's going to get you far. Not luck, not destiny. Because like I said, destiny happens, fate is real. But you have to be someone that can meet it where it's at. And it looks like your path forward beyond all this, beyond the world, your cycle ending, is a newfound understanding of this fact. And from there you build. So anyway, this video is getting long enough, so let's get on to who's next. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. All right, let's go to Aquarius. All right, Aquarius. Let's start with the animal oracles. Man, that shuffles like crap. These cards are a little tough, not gonna lie. Maybe I need to, loosen up a little bit. Loosen up, come on. There we go. There we go. All right, that felt better. Nope. Ooh! I love tarantulas. The tarantula. The turtle. And nightingale. And if you guys can't tell already, I am in a reptile room, so very clearly I love like creepy crawlies like tarantulas and turtles and alligators and crocodiles. And one day I aspire to have a spoopy Victorian home with a moat and a bunch of caimans in it. Why am I shuffling this? Nope. Okay. Guidebook. There we go. Tarantula. At a crossroad, claiming life's purpose. Aquarius. Nice. The tarantula represents a moment when a great decision must be made. It involves prioritizing your life's deeper purpose or dharma. A habit or routine from the past is sidetracking you from your dream, yet a voice inside keeps begging you to refocus your attention. In order to find true happiness, you must choose dharma. Until you do, satisfaction will be fleeting. The tarantula hovers, patient and calm, like an old friend that knows your inner soul. It already knows you'll choose wisely. When in balance, follows intuition. When out of balance, hesitates, over intellectualizes. To bring into balance, daily journaling. Turtle. Ancient soul, grounded, trusting, at home in the self. It is wonderful to be in the presence of a turtle personality. Like the beaver, the turtle has a strong relationship with the earth and water elements simultaneously. This helps to ground and connect them to the deeper truths of life, no matter where their travels lead them. Turtle energy is behind all great writers and storytellers as they collect life experiences under their shells for later use. The most potent turtle energy helps us close all the other books and begin to tell our own true tale. When in balance, peaceful, adventurous, and productive. When out of balance, slows down to a halt. To bring into balance and adventure. Nightingale. Also, I don't know if this resonates with anybody, but I suddenly had the taste of ginger snaps in my mouth. Just putting that out there, just in case. Okay. Fearless voice, speech, communication, or song. The song of the nightingale is otherworldly. This simple brown bird, almost unnoticeable among the flashy plumage of other birds. Plumage? Plumage. Plumage of other birds, transports its listener to the realm of poetry. Nightingale energy is with us when we write, compose, and especially when we sing. It reminds us that music heals the deepest wounds. This card indicates a need to open the bridge between the heart and the voice. Is there something you need to say? How long has it been since you sang? Turn it up, write it down, and let it out. When in balance, sings, speaks freely with kindness. When out of balance, shy, lump in the throat. To bring into balance, music. It's funny that last card because I do have an itchy throat right now. Maybe I'm tapping into somebody that's having a little struggle bustle with their throat chakra. Let's see. Love. Aquarius Love. Three of Swords. The Star. Three of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles. Death. Seven of Wands. Wow, that was aggressive. The Emperor. Interesting. The Hierophant. And the Daughter of Pentacles. Five of Wands. Six of Cups. Ace of Swords. Not gonna lie, Aquarius, this is a weird mix of energies. Let me ponder where to place this. But One thing that I'm hearing is you're better than that. That's what I keep hearing. You're better than that. And I have a feeling that you know that. It looks here like something hurt, but at the same time, there was no ending associated with it. It continues. And when I pulled the star, I heard blind. Normally, the star is about hope. It's about wishes, dreams. But this almost feels like, like stage lighting when you have it right, pointing right at you. You can't look at it because it's too bright. It's blinding. It's a light that is almost making you unable to see the stuff that the other person doesn't want you to see. Blind. Love is blind kind of thing. And then we have the Three of Pentacles along with death. And the Two of Pentacles feels like it's attached to it. Death is about death and rebirth. And it feels like whoever you are with, whatever this connection is, okay, here's what I'm saying. It feels like you are at a point in your life where you know that you are better than what you've always been. You're better than what you are now. And there's a connection here. All right, I'll just spit it out. Whoever you're connected with knows that you know that, and they know that you are trying to open up to self-improvement, and they are taking advantage of that, is what this feels like. This feels like someone that is, I just heard, exploiting the malleability that you are embodying right now. They seem like the light in the dark. They seem like the answer to your question. They seem like the solution. But there is something innate in you, in your roots, that is triggering a sort of cognitive dissonance, which is what this Five of Wands conflict card feels like. Almost to where you know that something's not right. You know that something is not, it's not, how do I want to put this? Something feels off here. And then we have the Ace of Swords. If you speak on that, what happens? I would go as far as to say that the person could be a narcissist because they don't like being confronted. No. They don't like it when you speak your truth. They don't like it when you call them out. And they don't like it when you say, I don't like the feeling that I get with the direction that you are steering me to. So after that, we have the Emperor, which is, kind of structure, tradition. And then we have the Hierophant. which is about deep wisdom, spiritual especially, and knowledge, the pursuit of knowledge. You know, he's both a teacher and a student. But along with them, we have the Daughter of Pentacles, and this feels like a softer but steady energy that accompanies these two. And I say that because she feels like a reminder that goes along with the other two. You know, if you choose to speak your truth, if you choose to cut this off and say, I don't know which way, and again, my throat is acting up. I don't know which way is right, but I know that whatever way you're trying to drag me to is not right. I don't know what is, but I know what isn't, and this isn't, is kind of the feeling that I get. And that's your own intuition kicking in this instance. And as you act on your intuition, as you practice your intuition, and you make decisions based on your intuition, and you watch how things unfold when you do that, you will get closer and closer to the better. Because again, I heard you're better than that. You get closer and closer to the better. But following your intuition, you need to know how to keep your ego under control. And I don't like how people talk about the ego as if it's something that needs to go away or disappear, or that you need to heal out of your system. The ego is a survival tool. It is useful too. It is what tells you when you are being disrespected. It is what tells you when someone is harming you. It is what tells you to stick up for yourself when you need to stick up for yourself. Now, if you operate purely from a place of ego, that's when the thought's like, but we've spent so much time together. I've invested so much in this person. You know, but the connection is so strong. But, you know, I don't want to get rejected. I don't want this to end. I don't want this or that. When you let the ego take control, that is also where you will start to see your limitations. Your ego is an alarm system, not the driver. Now, how you choose to act on that ego, how you choose to listen to your ego, and then decide how you're going to act. When you tie your ego with your intuition, with the acknowledgement that your ego is not the driving force here, it is simply an alarm. And then you let your intuition kick in and say, now what do we do? That's how you get to become the Emperor and the Hierophant. Now, the Daughter of Pentacles is here as a reminder not to become too rigid either. Because people can block their blessings by becoming too rigid. They mistake their intuition and anxiety. They mistake their anxiety with their intuition. They mistake their ego for intuition. And they become too rigid because they think that anything that hurts them is not meant to be in their life at all, when that's not the case. Sometimes, in even the healthiest of situations, even from someone that truly means well, sometimes those people can hurt you too, but it's not out of malice. Basically, as you go through this and you work towards healing from this, ending this and healing from this, and moving forward and stepping into your power, don't go so far that you forget to keep your heart open. Don't go so far and so rigid that you block your own blessings. And keep in mind in the future, as you move forward from this, keep in mind how to recognize what is genuine when it is in front of you. Basically, you're learning right now how to spot lies. You're learning right now how to spot narcissism. You're learning right now how to spot the red flags. In the future, you need to remember to keep an eye out for the green flags too. That's what I'm getting for Aquarius Love. That is a spoopy situation that you seem to be in, Aquarius. And I really hope that this doesn't apply to very many people. All right. Aquarius Work, career. Hopefully something good is happening for you. At least there. Father of Cups. Oh, so we got the Hermit, Justice, Father of Cups, Temperance. And the Five of Pentacles. That feels like it goes over here. And now we have Death and the Star again. That feels like it goes over here. This feels like it goes over here. The Moon. The Emperor is back. Oh. And the Four of Pentacles. You go over here. Mother of Wands. That also goes over here. All right. This feels like a transformation of your outlook on career. So I say that because we have the Five of Pentacles. This indicates some sort of loss. I have a feeling that something in your foundation, it feels like a big chunk of your foundation was removed. It's gone. And that triggered this death and rebirth energy. But you're not quite at the rebirth part yet. And I say that because the Four of Pentacles and the Mother of Wands here to me indicates that you're holding on to everything that you have left as tightly as you can. I just heard I can't go through another loss. That possibly ties into the love situation that you're in right now, as in you're holding on to it as tightly as you are because you are coming from a destabilized place. That also explains your malleability right now. Because when we go through big changes, sometimes we go through a period of time in which anything can happen in our internal world. After the Four of Pentacles and the Mother of Wands, we have the Hermit and the Moon. And that tells me that you're delving deeper into the emotional sphere of your inner world. There's a lot of self-reflecting happening here. We have Justice along with Temperance, and beyond that we have the Father of Cups and the Star and the Emperor. And that tells me that if you allow yourself to, You can grow from this experience. You can find something solid in the uncertainty right now. But you can't see what is solid until you learn to find balance within yourself. The visual that I'm getting is something very odd. It's like a room for, it's almost like, do you guys know the gelatinous cube in Dungeons and Dragons? It's almost like you got sucked into the gelatinous cube, but let's say that the gelatinous cube isn't digesting you, like you're not melting or anything like that, but it's like you're in jello that's kind of soft but rigid at the same time, kind of solid, kind of liquid at the same time. And in all that, there's like a floating spine is what I'm seeing. So maybe you're finding your backbone in all this. I I can't explain what I get. You're in a gelatinous cube with a floating spine. But that's why I say you're finding something solid in the uncertainty in all this. And that thing that is solid, I hope that it's you. I say that because of the Father of Cups, the Emperor, and the Star. I hope that it's you. You're finding yourself in all this. That's where your energy is directing you. And it feels like once you let go of holding on to what you have left and you kind of surrender to the situation and say, okay, I'm just going to let whatever isn't meant for me to fall away right now. And then I'll figure it out later. I'll just pick up the pieces later. That's how you build trust with yourself. Me personally, I've been through quite a few destabilizing situations in my life. But I've always landed on my feet. And it's not because I'm lucky. It's because I trust me. There was a quote, something about birds. They trust in their own wings and not the branch that they sit on, or something like that. You're learning to put your trust in your own wings and not the branches that you are sitting on. Or at least that's the advice, is to learn to trust in your ability to survive. How does this relate to work, though? That's the only thing that's getting me. I mean, it's a good message, but how does this relate to work? Okay. 8 of Cups. Neglect. Neglect, loss, regret. It feels like what you're going through right now, maybe even what you're dealing with in your love situation, is making you neglect your job. It's making you neglect your work. This thing that you're holding on to, it doesn't feel like it's your job. It feels like your job is what's getting neglected. It's being put on the back burner to all of this. And this is basically the card saying, get your ish together. There is no nicer way to put this. It's saying, get your ish together. Because right now you're drowning in the gelatinous cube. You're just wading around in there, like just trying to find something solid. What is solid is your bills. What is solid is your adult responsibilities. I'm not getting anything here saying that your job is bad or that it's toxic or you need to leave it or whatever. What I'm getting here is that something important to your well-being is being put on the back burner right now, and you need to get your ish together. Okay? It's important to go through this emotional process to learn to trust in your own wings again. But, at the same time, if you have something good, recognize it for what it is and value it. Maybe that spine in the gelatinous cube is your job. Yeah. So, Aquarius, while you're going through what you're going through, I know you tend to get lost in the weeds in your thinky brains, but show up for work. Yep, that's the advice on this one. All right, moving on to the shadow work portion of the Aquarius readings. I know this video has gotten so long, but I really hope that the insights that I've found, Four of Wands, are helpful somehow. Like, I know some of it was harsh, Nine of Wands, but I get what I get. The Magician. The Nine of Pentacles. Son of Pentacles. Nope. You go back. The World. Whoa. The World. That feels like it belongs right at the beginning. Six of Wands. You go over here. I need a bigger desk. Ace of Wands. You go with the Magician. Four of Swords. You belong with the Son of Pentacles. This is turning into quite the elaborate spread. The Fool. That goes over here, tied with the Magician. Mother of Swords. Judgment. Daughter of Cups. Three of Cups. You know what this feels like, Aquarius? This feels like mid-process of ending a cycle and beginning a new one. With the Four of Wands being about stability and foundations. And we covered it earlier that something in your foundation was taken away or gone, or you lost it. Along with that came the Nine of Wands and the Six of Wands, and that's about, to me, it's about recovery. It's about, where do I go from here? I lost something big. Now what? With the Ace of Wands, the Magician, and the Nine of Pentacles, this feels like a rebuilding of your life. Son of Pentacles is a quiet, more reserved energy, and the Four of Swords is about staying still and processing and healing. The Fool is a leap of faith, but something about this tells me, usually that's a good card, but something about this is telling me that no, take the harder road right now. Not the easier road. There is no quick solution to rebuilding your foundation. There's no shortcut to this. Take the longer route. Take the Son of Pentacles, Four of Swords route to build up to the Three of Cups, the Daughter of Cups, the Mother of Swords, and finally Judgment. That's what this feels like. Something about the Judgment card also tells me that you are going to be faced with a situation that will test your growth, that will test the new foundation that you have or you are now building for yourself. So the question in all this is, how are you going to show up when this comes? How much work will you have done by the time this happens? I'm not saying rush through it. Again, I'm saying take the longer route, do the earnest work, build it again, brick by brick. There is no quick solution to this. It's a painstaking process, but it feels like right now that's what it needs to be. You're meant to introspect right now as you go. And perhaps the thing that's lingering in your shadow is the urge to reach for the quick solutions. It is the urge to find the shortcuts, to look for the quick answers. So as you go through your shadow work, as you grow as a person, keep in mind that it is a painstaking process. It will be worth it in the end. Because that's how you build something solid, by being meticulous. Be meticulous right now, because as you go through the shadow work, what you're building is yourself. You're building your own sense of being. And that is something that deserves more effort than a shortcut. And that's all I have. That's all I have for the Aquarius reading. Okay, so if you like what you saw here today, which in all honesty, I don't know why you would. But if you like what you saw here today, please do like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.